Today we'll be talking about Naziah Harris. Now, 13-year-old Naziah Harris loved school. She enjoyed her family and she just loved being around people. Um, Normally, their routine is the grandma will wake them all up around 6 o'clock and take all of the kiddos to school. Now, mind you, Naziah stayed at home with her grandmother, her aunt Shannon Harris, and Shannon's 5 children. So her grandma, Annette Harris, would wake all of them up and take them to school because they loved eating breakfast at school. Now, on this particular day, January 9th, Naziah normally will ride the bus home. Her grandma did and state that she got out of school around 2:45 and that she would make it home around 3 or 3:05. On this particular day, her grandma mentioned that she had a few errands to run, so she left home. But by the time she made it back home, Naziah still was nowhere to be found. So she went to the school. I'm assuming this is around 6 or 7 o'clock, if not a little bit before that. But obviously, no one is going to be at the school if everyone's gone. So she went to the school looking for her. She couldn't find her. She also stated that she drove around the city just hoping to spot her out, but to no avail. She didn't find her. They waited until the next morning to do anything, to call the police or to get anyone involved in the case. Knowing that alone angers me so bad because there's no way they should have waited that long to get anybody involved in Naziah's whereabouts. So again, Naziah wasn't reported missing until January 10th. Camera footage shows Naziah getting off her bus on the 9th, and instead of going home, she headed in the direction of a mechanic shop. Now, the mechanic shop was owned by her quote unquote uncle, which is Shannon's children's father, and his friend Cardell Wright. And she was seen headed towards the mechanic shop. Now, it is said that the girls will go to the mechanic shop to help clean up.
I don't know.
I don't understand that either, but a witness did state that several witnesses stated that they seen Naziah on the 9th with Jarvis. Now, one of those witnesses was Jarvis's sister. She stated that her car was messing up and she wanted her brothers to check it out. So, of course, she FaceTimed him and he told her to come on up there. When she gets there, she notices a girl getting in and out of her brother's car, which was a pearl looking Escalade. And she asked who the little girl was. Well, Jarvis informed her she couldn't remember if he said that's my homeboy's niece or if he said that's King's niece, which King is his partner that he works with at the mechanic shop. So she didn't think anything else of it. At the time, she didn't know who, the baby was. She said she did mention going inside of a store around the same time that the baby was going into the store. They never crossed face to face. She said she went in the store. Naziah went in the store and went to the left. She went in the store, kept straight, and went to the right because she was going to the bathroom. So she never really seen her face to face.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
Okay. Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this alive?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor Encounters.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Okay. Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay. And around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So, it's a car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe a Cadillac Escalade.
Okay. Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out and going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell them in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
Another witness, which is Cardell's son's aunt, states that she also seen Naziah with Jarvis and Cardell on January 9th because her mom's Jaguar was messed up and they were working on it. When they got done working on the Jaguar, they drove the Jaguar back to where they lived, which it was his son's grandma and his son's aunt that stayed there. She said that they stayed and talked for about 45 minutes to an hour, which Cardell was trying to wait on his son to get out of school, but it was taking longer than expected, so he had to leave. But she did put eyes on Naziah. Now, when they got there, she stated that Jarvis mentioned, hey, well, this is my niece. Introduced her as his niece as well. Y'all, it's so much. It's so much when it comes to this case. So many people felt this baby. Her mom wasn't active in her life. Her dad couldn't take care of her due to medical reasons, and then he has since passed away. Naziah's grandma states that at first she stated that she didn't have a phone, that she had a tablet, which she bought her the tablet. Mind you, the grandma has full custody of Naziah at this point. And so she would, like any kid, she would get on social media. She'll be on Instagram. She'll be on, Facebook, stuff like that. Being a kid, you know what I mean? And she later on mentioned that at some point her mom came around and gave her a cell phone, which the cell phone wasn't on. She was just using, she could use it when she had Wi-Fi. So it was discovered that her and Jarvis were messaging back and forth. And yes, it's about what you think. They had several messages basically talking about meeting up to have sex. She was gonna be in the basement several times. It states that, he was at the house and she was asking him what he was looking at, and he was saying her.
Can you read the messages that were sent from that number to Jarvis Butt's number, or I guess the messages that were captured within People's Exhibit 15? including the dates and approximate times.
So the first message is September 24th, 2022 at 22:15 hours UTC. She sends, "Bald head Janiyah, come here."
And that's to a number that's not Mr. Butts.
Correct.
Okay.
Then the next message is on September 27th, 2022. All of these dates are from 2022. So September 27th, at 1:37 a.m. UTC, it is sent to Mr. Butt's phone. "We fitnessing, happy birthday." Immediately after that, at the 17-second mark, again to Mr. Butt's phone, it says, "Come on." On that date, September 27th at 1:52 a.m., another message is sent to Butt's phone asking, "You okay?" September 27th, 2022, 1:54 a.m., she sent a message, "Where are we doing it at your choice?" Immediately following that text, a message is received to Neziah, to this text now number, from Mr. Butt's phone that says, "You tell me." 9:27, 1:55 a.m., a message is replied to Jarvis, says, "Basement." 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to Neziah from Mr. Butt's phone that says, "You sure?" At 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to Neziah, from Neziah to Mr. Butts, saying, "Or job." At 1:57 a.m., a message is sent to Neziah from Mr. Butts' phone, saying, "Can you suck my dick, please?" The message immediately following that, from Mr. Butts' phone to Neziah, "And make sure you erase the messages." Still September 27th, 1:59 UTC, a message is sent to Mr. Butts that says, "Okay, that is what I planned to do." Another message is immediately following that at 2:01 to Mr. Butts. "You turn me on just looking at you," and then there's a bunch of letters, which possibly is maybe an image that was sent that doesn't capture on the messages. 2:02 a.m., Neziah sends another message to Jarvis, "What time to be in the basement?" 2:03 a.m., he replies and sends her a message that says, "Go change your clothes and take your panties off." Neziah replies to Mr. Butts and says the letter K. At 2:10 a.m., so 7 minutes later, a message is sent from Neziah to Jarvis's phone. "I hear you. What you looking at?" Jarvis replies back immediately to her saying the letter U. At 2:13 a.m. UTC, still on September 27th, Neziah sends Jarvis a message that says, "I know, I'm finna sleep good." There's another message directly after that that has a bunch of symbols, so I'm not sure if it was one of those little emojis. 2:14 a.m., she sends to him, "What about you?" The next message she sends to him immediately after, "Sometimes I be wanting to live with you." 2:16 a.m., she sends to him, "You know what I mean." 2:18 a.m., she sends, "What time I'm ready." 2:23 a.m. She sends to Mr. Butts' phone number, "We not doing it or what?" 2:23 a.m. Messiah sends to Mr. Butts, "I really want you." This is still on the same day, September 27th, 2022. This is now 2:23 a.m. UTC time. Mr. Butts replies to Naziah, "Yes." 2:24 a.m. Naziah sends, "Pull your car down the street and come back. I'll be waiting." 2:25 a.m. Jarvis's phone replies back to her, "Come ride with me and Nye, N-I-Y." 2:25 a.m. she replies, "Did they say I can come?" At 2:30 UTC, she sends him a message that says, "I'm sorry, but love you." 2:30 UTC, he immediately replies back, "Come on." 2:31, Naziah replies, "I can't, I'm going to get in trouble." The next message is at 2:35. She sends, "When you come back, drop Nye off, pull your car down the street, and I'll come in the base. I'll be waiting." Then immediately after that, she sends, "Basement, please." Jarvis replies, "Okay." At 2:40, Jarvis replies, "You in the basement yet?" Immediately after that, Naziah replies back, "Yeah." Now we are the next day being, it's now September 28th, 2:28 a.m. UTC. She sends Jarvis a message that says, "Are we doing it tonight? I'm ready, fresh out the shower." The next message is a reply from him to her. Well, this is September 30th now at 1:25 a.m. UTC. He replies, "Yo." September 30th, 2:59, she replies, "You coming over?" She then sends another message directly after that, "Don't have school." At 3:07, a reply is received to Naziah from Jarvis saying, "Yep." She then replies, "K, we'll be waiting." At 3:17 a.m., he sends another message, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, "Text me when you get here." At 3:21 a.m., this is still September 30th date, Jarvis replies and sends a message to her saying, "Outside."
And this went on, the messages started back in 22, which would make Naziah, 11 at the time? Which would make her 11 because she was 13 now. It's so sickening. It's so sickening when you think about everything that went into this, because prior to all of this going on January 9th, Jarvis was supposed to turn himself in for something else, but they pushed the date back to February. Also, he had already served 10 years, y'all. He had served 10 years and was already a registered sex offender. Now, allegedly, it is said that after he served the 10 years, he got with Naziah's aunt, and she didn't care about him being a sex offender. She assumed that he wouldn't do that to their children or anybody that's close to her because he was with her. That mindset, I don't know. But mind you, he had essayed
What is it, like 4
4 different
little girls?
before. One of them was 4, and he ended up giving her chlamydia. Another one that I know of was 8. And I'm just like,
That's insane. I mean, because it's alleged, you know what I'm saying? It's allegedly said that he made her aware that he served 10 years for assault on a younger child before, and supposedly she blew that off. But at the end of the day, you got to kind of look at people for who they are. People do change, but at the end of the day, that is a major risk that you're taking by putting this little girl in that kind of situation.
and in my mindset, I'm not even thinking about a person changing.
Yeah,
if I know you
absolutely.
have done something like this to a child, that's who you are.
Yep, that's who you are.
You know what I mean? And then not one time, not 2 times, 4 times over.
And the thing is about it, even if you have changed, that don't even matter. I'm not putting kids at risk like that.
Absolutely.
So that was, I mean, that kind of leads, I don't know, I mean, it just kind of automatically makes me think that she wasn't being sought after like she should have been.
Absolutely she wasn't. After they discovered the explicit messages, it showed that she was asking Mr. Butts for pads at one time. And then it also shows that she basically told him that she was pregnant. She mentioned not having a period, and he asked her for how long, and she was like, since her last doctor's appointment or something like that. But at that point, it was months in. She mentioned how it was hard for her to work out with the baby, and that he needed to hurry up and get her a Plan B pill. In her mind, you can tell how immature her mind is, because she's thinking whether she's a month along or 5 months along, if she take a Plan B pill, that'll be the end of it. But
That's not how it works.
That's not the case. They did show on Mr. Butt's phone that he was searching about abortions. He was searching how to self-perform like an abortion. It showed that he searched antifreeze.
About drinking
antifreeze. It's just, in this case, go ahead, babe.
No, I mean, it was clear from them after the findings on his phone that he was trying to find a way out of this situation.
Absolutely.
And I mean, at that point, you kind of too far along, you know what I'm saying? Everything now is finna hit the fan, because you can't hide a pregnancy only for so long.
For sure.
And I know it was a picture that kind of sparked interest too. It's a picture that we'll put up that they said that was kind of the first picture where Nazaria looked at pregnant on it. But she had that colorful print jacket on.
But I'm not understanding how you live in a household with women who has had children, and they not recognize that you're 5 months pregnant. They're not noticing that you're not using pads, or they're not noticing, it's a whole lot.
I mean, it just goes
about this case.
It goes
they dropped the ball,
for
sure.
Absolutely. Yep. It just goes back to show you how they dropped the ball, and kind of how she was kind of seeing after herself.
And then another thing in my mind, I'm like, okay, so the grandma was constantly saying, my children, my children, my children, when she was referring to her grandchildren, but she called them her children. In my mind, I'm wondering, okay, are you taking care of all of these children? Because when you have full custody of Nazaria, she mentioned a boy as well. And then her daughter has 5 children. They were all staying with her at one time. You know, so were you were taking the kids to school? Were you raising the children in a sense? I know she said she really didn't fool with Nazaria's mom, but it's looking like, you know what I mean, you was raising all the other kids as well. Like, it's so much. This case bothers me so bad. Any case that has to do with a child bothers me so bad. But it's the point that y'all knew this man
and knew exactly who he was,
knew his background, and still allowed him to be around children. I don't care, girl or boy. You still allowed this man to be around children. Now, even with the auntie saying, well, the kids will want to see their dad, or he will call to see the kids, and it's just a no. Like, how can you trust somebody with any child when you know they have a background like that. But anyways, y'all, they did end up finding his phone pinged in several locations, right? And they end up finding her black hoodie, which had several holes in it. But after it being examined, they couldn't say give a definite answer to how the holes got in the jacket. Basically, she said it could have been from a knife, it could have been from a gun, or it could have been from like a struggle. So they didn't know that. They found a pink jumpsuit. They found her red and black shoes, Nikes. They found earbuds in her pocket. And then when they searched the fiance's car, they found his cell phone and they found a gun in that car. And then in his actual truck, they found several different knives.
Now, I want to just backtrack a little bit before getting back to the messages. You had stated yesterday that when you searched Mr. Buck's home, you had found some guns.
Yes,
Did you, in any other searches, did you find any other kind of weapons?
yes.
And what were the, well, first, where were they found and what were they?
When we had searched Neff, there was a firearm inside the vehicle, the same vehicle that had Mr. Buck's phone. That firearm was later determined to be registered to Tashiana. When we searched Mr. Buck's car, there were several like kitchen knives in there throughout the car, various sizes. There was the weapons that were inside his home. And I believe that was as far as any weapons. There might have been some other type of blunt instrument or something, but nothing significant that I documented.
Okay. And Mr. Butt's vehicle that Escalade was processed,
Yes,
and those items were sent to the lab,
yes,
and that's along with Miss Latricia Johnson's Nissan.
yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk in your training and experience, having been with police for 24 years. Have you seen types of wounds made through clothing?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you saw the black hoodie that was recovered had some holes in the head, in the hood area.
yes.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with what, like either some sort of like sharp object or a gun or something of the sort? Are you familiar with what that would look like through clothing?
And yeah, at this point, I'm going to object. I think the answer would call for her to speculate on what caused these wounds.
I'm not asking her to say what caused the holes.
Call the holes. My
In this
apologies.
specific
Yeah,
case, but in her
correct.
experience.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
you may be objecting after a few questions, but for this one, overruled.
Yeah, so throughout the hundreds of scenes that I've been to, various scenes, whether they may be fatal stabbing, it may be a blunt force trauma, I've responded and processed many gunshot scenes. When there's clothing where a weapon was used, you do see that type of tearing. It could be from a bullet.
In there, and even though they don't have a body, the judge had enough
To put him on trial.
put him on trial for murder. So I know everything is unraveling now. We'll definitely get more information and bring more information to you guys. I hope I wasn't rambling, y'all, but this really bothers me so bad. When I seen this, I'm like, my God. So I think he will be going to trial here soon. I want to say the 16th, but don't quote me, y'all. But I know he'll be going to trial soon. And I pray that they find her body, or they, wherever she is, I pray that they find her. I was watching something and I did see that they discovered a body in Detroit in a shallow grave not too long ago, but we'll definitely bring y'all updates on that. We'll keep y'all informed on everything that's going on in Nazia's case. I just pray that she get the justice that she deserves. I pray that the family is comforted, even though, Lord, y'all dropped the ball on this baby. It's just sad, you guys. This one is sad. But we will definitely keep y'all updated. If y'all like our true crime series, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the family. We love y'all so much, and we'll definitely see y'all in the next one.